Welcome to another session of the 10-minute POV. We're going to go deep technically today. We got a very special guest joining us from AWS, our own senior solutions architect, Paul DeLaria, out of Minneapolis. I hate to do this, but having a Vikings fan lead a discussion is going to be painful. But at the very end of this session, we're going to have a little something of a surprise for Paul to even things out. So I'm excited to be able to showcase that. But for now, what I'd like to do is turn it over to Paul to introduce one of his favorite partners out of Minneapolis, a very exciting partner, the Nerdery. Paul.
Yeah, thanks, Chip. Appreciate it. And yes, I am from Minnesota, and I've lived here my whole life, but the 4.5 years I didn't live here, I lived in Wisconsin, and my wife is from Wisconsin as well. So I think of it as my second home. And I did go to the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire for my undergrad degree. So I'm a big fan of Western Wisconsin.
Paul, one thing I just noticed now, is that a deep racer on your shelf behind you?
It is, yeah. I have my deep racer over there, which is a autonomous vehicle that is something we use to engage with customers and explain how deep learning and autonomous vehicles are built, and we race them around a track in Minnesota. We have our own deep racer league, and I think there's one in Chicago too.
Yeah.
So
now sales guys are not allowed to use those, right?
Oh no, yeah, no, we'll do. Yeah, you have to. No, we would actually. You can use them, but we'd have to give you some basic lessons on how to use them. So Mine has been sitting there for a while, but I do have a deep lens up on the top up there too. So
nice.
We can definitely have a deep conversation about deep racers and how they work too. That's a fun one to have. Customers love that.
Well, thank you very much for joining us and leading the session. So,
yeah.
Take it away, my man.
Happy to be here. So yeah, like Chip said, I'm a partner solution architect focused on customers in the north central area, including Wisconsin and all the way down into the southern part of the central part of the U.S. And I wanted to do one of these POVs and introduce one of my favorite partners, the Nerdery. And the Nerdery is an advanced business partner here, located in the north central area as well. They focus on digital consultancy, and I think it's important to understand that the reason why we do business through partners is because that's what our customers have asked us to do, because our partners are trusted confidants of many of our customers already. So with that, Josh, you want to explain a little bit about what the nerds are?
Yeah. I can definitely do that. Thanks for having us. So I'm Josh Oswald. I'm a client partner at Nerdery. So think of me as kind of like an account manager with a series of clients in my portfolio. And the Nerdery, as you mentioned, Paul, is a digital business consultancy. We support our clients with end-to-end consulting and strategy, as well as design and technology capabilities. So whether we're helping them build new products and services, or even new capabilities within their business, or modernizing those old technologies. That's really our specialty, and why we're excited to partner with AWS and to utilize those building blocks that you have.
Cool.
I do want to quickly introduce a colleague of mine that's here as well, Jonathan. If you want to quick introduce yourself, and then we'll hand it back to Paul to keep the conversation going.
Absolutely. As Josh mentioned, my name is Jonathan Dexter. I'm our Senior Director of Engineering at Nerdery. Been working on solving clients' business problems with software for the past decade and a half, and really excited. A lot has changed in that period of time, and AWS has definitely allowed us to jump forward and stop thinking about kind of the baseline of what's necessary and think about actually solving business problems. So really excited to talk a little bit about what we have done today using a number of AWS technologies.
And I just point out, one thing we always say here at Amazon and AWS is it's always day one at AWS, and we're always thinking about new ways to do new things with our customers. And in that spirit, we've brought one of our summer interns with us today to kind of shadow and ask the tough questions along the way. So Graham, you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course, guys. My name is Graham Kutchek, and I'm one of the summer partner solution architect interns out of the Central area. I've been working really closely with Paul over the course of this fun-filled summer. And I'm based out of the Chicagoland area, so not too far from the homeland of Wisconsin. I love driving up there occasionally, going to the Cheese Castle. And beyond that, I'm a fourth-year student at UC Berkeley. So I'll shortly be returning back to California, but for the time being, I'm kind of here just to continue to learn and be curious about this whole customer process we have going on.
Now,
So
Graham,
Chip, just so you know, we have you surrounded with Bears fans and Vikings fans today. So
well, here it is. Graham, whose room do you have at Cal?
I live in the room that Aaron Rodgers used to live in.
Yeah, I love it. Thanks for joining us, Graham.
Thank you.
all right, so real quick, I just want to kind of describe some work that we've been doing with the nerds here in Minneapolis. I think we're all really aware of how COVID has affected our lives, but I thought I'd put some numbers around what the impact is having on all of our lives with some recent data. So if you think about it, sales of delivery and pickup of groceries has increased 500% year over year. So last year at this time, sales from groceries and delivery was about 1.2 billion, and now today it's 7.2 billion. Those orders, the actual order sizes increased 430%, and the spend per order is increased from $72 to $84 on average. And customers also are increasing the frequency of delivery from average customer ordering 1 time per month to 1.9 times per month. So what does that mean? It creates all sorts of problems with the distribution and delivery systems that have traditionally driven by your house, right? There's more people at home, they're home for longer, and they have more demands. I mean, you can't just go to the office and grab a ream of paper anymore and bring it home. You got to order paper, right? And many other things, right? So the problem is that these distribution networks that are built out inside, to deliver things for home weren't really set up to handle these capacities, because they were built before things like modern radio frequencies that we use for 4G and 5G, or the fact that the distribution network is now no longer hub and spoke, but it's decentralized, and we need to get more information to the distributors in a quicker fashion. And this has caused problems with things like we need to figure out a way to reduce inventory turnover ratios. We need to reduce the cost per delivered good so we can reduce cost of goods sold, and we need to come up with more sustainable, more efficient use of our resources for sustainability. Because you can't drive a 2-ton diesel truck around and deliver 1 ice cream cone. You have to be able to deliver 4,000 ice cream cones with the same gallon of diesel fuel used. So it's a business problem that can be solved using modern technology. And the nerds and I got together and kind of really thought through how do we take these old centralized hub and spoke distribution networks, maybe it's a HVAC company or an insurance company or a medical device delivery company, or I was even thinking like a dog groomer, right? Or a car repair, or any kind of specialized food delivery network, it specializes in a certain type of delivery, and allow them to bring more of their products with them and give them to more of their customers, sell them to more of their customers when they want them, without having to go back to a centralized location. So I don't know, Josh or Jonathan, anything you want to add to that, kind of describing the problem? Or
Yeah, I think that there's one thing I'd add too, which is I think that your information about how things have grown is really interesting and unique right now too. It's easy to take that information and say, hey, my business has grown by 5 or 6 times, and I need to just focus on the core. But what inevitably also we want to do for our customers is think about the future, have that day one mentality, and think about what happens tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. Even when I don't want to maybe use the analogy of things are on fire, but things are tough in that standpoint. We also have to think about, well, how do we get through, make the process simpler, and also enable future disruptions or future opportunities in order to deliver new capabilities for our customers and produce more resiliency in the market. And as you mentioned, I think this is, in our case, particularly pertinent to food delivery, but it applies more broadly to fleet management and logistics and ordering and delivery in general. So really excited to have that conversation.
Do you want to show them what we built?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into it. Now, this is COVID time, so screen sharing is going to hopefully work out correctly. Can you see my screen? It should just have a Nerdery logo at the bottom there.
Yes.
Great, fantastic. As we get into it, I'm going to start with the idea, the core of it, the crux of it. So we utilized AWS's Wild Rides demo as the foundation for how we were approaching this. So the Wild Rides demo, of course, it tracks unicorns going to various locations and able to understand how to track them, how to manage them, how to call them places. And it's a really useful core for a fleet management process, right? And so briefly, I'll talk about kind of two major areas that we utilized here. A static website delivered via stored in S3 and delivered through CloudFront that then gets information through a backend utilizing Kinesis, Lambda, and DynamoDB. All of that secured via Cognito, and none of this is really completely novel. Also not pictured here are some additional security controls you might want to have in place just to simplify the conversation. But this is a great core for how we think about fleet management, right? This is okay, let's have a static website, starts accessing APIs and functionality that deliver capabilities. But we wanted to start to take that a step further. So we built out a 3-stage MVP process in order to start to add additional capabilities to that fleet management problem. So the first MVP stage, there's it is, increase operations visibility, right? Let's make sure people know what's on the trucks and when, so that they can make those smart decisions. Do I have 3,000 ice cream cones on my truck? Do I have 50 left? That's really important as a kind of table stakes requirement in order to have these disruptive features in place and to be able to start to more fully understand where my inventory is.
Like I'm really jonesing a praline pecan ice cream cone. I can just click a button and you know that.
Oh man, yeah, you know, at least on that truck. I think you jumped ahead, Paul, a little bit. It saw the future here of like where we're going. But at least now with this first MVP, we know, hey, yeah, there's a pecan ice cream cone 2 miles away from me, right? And utilizing, I think the core things to mention are app sync. The thing with trucks and movable things in general is, we might have fiber lines in our house, but usually a truck does not have a fiber optic cable running from it to the internet, and it doesn't always have network connectivity. And so we have to plan for offline access and understand what's on that truck and have that sync on a regular basis. And then secondarily, starting to pull in information from that hub and spoke style inventory management, those core systems of truth that still exist. So we still see a lot of the wild rides that exists here, but augmenting it with some additional features that additional services that AWS offers. And Paul, to get to your next point, I think that we want to talk exactly about how do we maximize revenue potential per truck, per route? Well, let's start to think about how we trigger orders, right? If you order something, there's already a truck 2 miles away, right? Why do I have to wait for tomorrow? Why do I have to wait for it to go back to the warehouse to be able to deliver that? So we start to think about, well, how could we enable a truck to answer a call, right?
That really gets it back to kind of our core business issues around sustainability and reducing cost of goods delivered and increase inventory turnover.
Yeah, exactly. And so very similarly, we use Kinesis to ingest it into DynamoDB or a relational table if that was how another operation goes, but we use DynamoDB in this case. And then use an update trigger to send that notification to the truck driver of, hey, You know, there's an order a mile away from you. A guy is really craving a box of pecan ice cream cones or maybe chicken
Whole
nuggets.
box? Whoa.
It's a family. Family with
Yeah, right.
a bunch
Gotta
of
stock
on.
up, Paul. You gotta stock up, otherwise you might run out.
I'm going to eat them all. You know, it's just the way it is. So,
ice cream cones. The next toilet paper crisis.
yeah.
So, but then we could start to even say, well, you know, at this point, it's a kind of unidirectional flow, right? A customer orders, it goes to a truck driver, they're able to respond to it. But nowadays, people want a little bit more, and they start to want a customer experience that is increased visibility and isn't just that one-way experience. It's
Feedback driven. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Feedback driven. And so adding a customer info pane onto the architecture that already exists.
Like you could find out exactly when your ice cream cone is going to show up.
Yeah.
And be outside to pick it up when the truck drives by. That would be really cool.
Yeah. Or you be outside, or maybe you go inside because you don't want to interact with the truck driver right now. Yeah, absolutely. And so that kind of full circle hopefully even gives the customer more access and ability to say, oh, you know what, I've got something going on. I want to, where's my order? And maybe it even starts to add opportunities to upsell, right? Do you want one ice cream cone, or do you want a box of ice cream cones? Do you want
box of steaks? Yeah, you're over at the neighbor's house grilling out, and you need a box of steaks too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
So
this is awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. It solves a very, I think, a common business problem. And the other thing that I think is worth mentioning is this is not rocket science. This is AWS gives us a lot of the services that allows us to build this in a way that is more rapid, faster, and doesn't have us thinking about the things that we used to have to think about, right? Like network traffic management, security controls, or a lot of that, authentication management, a lot of that we get, I wouldn't say entirely out of the box, right? But a big leg up.
Yeah, this is serverless ice cream delivery.
Yes.
You know, the great thing about this, if you look, I don't see a server on here. I see applications that are connected together that are focused on a customer outcome, which is delivering the goods in the most efficient way possible.
Yeah, I think that's a great call out. I think that, and that adds us the benefit too of, Paul, you mentioned that orders and size of orders have gone up 5 to 6 times, and scaling serverless is just so much easier.
Yeah, there is no upper limit here where you're going to get a notification that you need to spend another, capital improvement in order to meet the needs of the customers. It just scales to the needs. So yeah, it gets back to, the key of why people use AWS. It's experience, innovation, choice, and scale. And in this case, it's scale that we're after.
Yeah.
So Jonathan, thanks for walking us through that. I really appreciate it. That was an awesome demo outline of the architecture of the demo that we built. And we would love to share this with as many customers as we can, but it's also important for our customers to be builders as well. And maybe we can explain a little bit about how you get engaged in something like this to our customers, Chip. So the Wild Rides demo is on GitHub. And Graham, do you want to explain to our people that are listening in what GitHub is and how you've used it in the past?
Yeah, so for you guys that might be unfamiliar, GitHub is a wonderful repository hosting service that enables people to quickly and easily access any files or any kind of source code for the services you guys have, and can access that through the command line to quickly download. So from a development standpoint and increasing customer engagement, I think it'd be a great tool for you guys to utilize.
Great. So like Wild Rides, I went to Josh and Jonathan and I said, hey, why don't you take the Wild Rides demo and let's customize it for a distributed ice cream network? And they're like, that's cool, let's go do it. So we did. So one way you can get engaged with us is to download the serverless or the Wild Rides demo and try it yourself, or call one of us and we'll be happy to work with you on that. And the other thing I'd say is, we do immersion days all the time in Wisconsin meetup, the Minnesota meetup as well. where we'll bring this stuff to you, you know, in a more curated fashion and walk around and help you build together. And, you know, we're all willing to do that. And, you know, we can participate as a partner. You know, there are advantages there as well. Josh, anything to add on how our, you know, people can get engaged with us on this? Oh, you're on mute, bud. You're still
COVID times, I'm telling
There
you.
you go. You're rocking
I was
it now.
joking I should wear my I'm on mute t-shirt. Here's a slide that you can reference for contacting any of us. And we like to partner together. So if you'd like to get us together in a group, we'd love to figure out how to solve those problems together as well.
And the last thing I say is, you know, our customer, people often ask me, they're like, why do you do business? Why would we do business through partners? And the reason why is because that's what our customers have asked us to do. And our customers asked us to do because they trust partners. They're already out there working with them. They're experienced. People like the nerds, they have the depth technically and the breadth to understand what they can do technically. And they have a different perspective than we do. So they can give you, you know, maybe the AWS view, but another view as well. So that's why our customers use partners and why we love working with partners here at AWS. So with that, Chip, we're done. What did you think?
I thought it was absolutely spectacular. Thank you, everybody, so much for making the investment of time and really sharing something that is truly truly insightful insofar as creating the kind of value and experience for both our customers, partners, and end users. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for having us.
Take care.
Thank you.